Now I would like to introduce our first guest, Tom de Toys, born in 1968. He is a poetry performance artist of the German underground literature scene. Tom de Toys lives in Düsseldorf since 2012 and he is a member of the arts association Düsseldorfer Künstler e.V. He organized in 2017 a poetry festival with some subcultural stars of the scene. Hello, Mr. de Toys, thank you for coming. You are 54 years old. What did you do before you arrived in Düsseldorf?
Hi there, thanks for inviting me. Well, I was living in Berlin for more than 14 years as an activist of the creative scene. In the beginning I was running a literature saloon in the art house Tacheles, where I organized readings and an exhibition. At that time I lived in the district of Prenzlauer Berg, where most artists and poets were located. We talk about the late 1990s. By the government move from Bonn to Berlin, the creative scene moved to Friedrichshain and later to Neukölln because of the cheap rents. There I worked as a cultural manager for a gallery in my last years.
I see. So you did experience the gentrification in Berlin. Did your way of life change here in comparison to your former life in Berlin?
Yes, my life changed radically because I stopped being hyperactive as an artist just to avoid more burnout symptoms. Instead of that, I became a taxi driver and a GCA, a geriatric care assistant. But in spite of that, I organized that poetry festival in 2017 that you mentioned already, where I presented some subcultural stars of the poetry scene.
2017 is a few years ago. Do you have any actual projects?
Oh yes, I do. At this very moment, I am invited to create an artwork out of a vintage taxi call box that will be sold to help Ukraine refugees. And next year, I'm going to perform my poetry in the local library of Bersten.
Oh, tell me more about it. Is it a solo reading?
No. The manager of the library, CAPPEL, asked me to choose 3 more authors besides of myself. One comes from Duisburg, that's Marvin Schlader, who is a researcher of pop culture. The second is Boris Kerensky from Stuttgart, who published the legendary anthology of German underground literature in the 1990s, titled Kaltlandbeat. And the last one is Harald Kappel from Aachen, who won the Post Poetry Prize 3 years ago.
All right. Can you tell me if there are any similarities in between the poetry scenes of Berlin and Düsseldorf?
Well, one very practical difference between the scenes are of course the sizes. In Berlin, up to 200 literature performances happen each day, while in Düsseldorf you can be lucky to find 2 in a month. The second most important difference is the way how the activists of the scenes are connected. In Berlin, it is easy to find a location that presents you without being published by an established editor or having won a literature prize. By that, many unknown poets live in a permanent life-act exchange of their works and ideas that provokes an intense atmosphere and creative lifestyle of subcultural processes. In opposite to that, it is difficult to discover a self-made reading in Düsseldorf because most literature events are presented by a small network of official institutions that promote mostly well-known authors. By recognizing that difference, I am very represents indeed this official network, but on the other hand, we, the four authors and the musician of course also, are not clearly established or not, and by that we are a kind of mixture of the avant-gardistic and the advanced scene.
So, what unites the authors then?
Somehow, just one common level unites us. Our way of writing. It is open to experimental and anti-poetical methods, free from conservative rules and values. We like to surprise ourselves with our inspiration. If you like, you find further information about us on the website of the project, www.sub-cultural.de.